on the table. One time, get rid of it. Good morning, we're at Public Works Building. It's Tuesday the 23rd. You're here for the regular council meeting at 9 o'clock. And we're gonna call the meeting in order. We're gonna do the invocation followed by the pledge of allegiance. Boys, Mark Bates.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon our city council and all those that work for Mexico Beach the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people that are here in Mexico Beach. And this I pray in your most holy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father Bates, thank you for being here. We don't want to overlook that, and we appreciate it when you come. You're more embarrassed. I know Miss Tammy, we confirm that all the time. First thing on our agenda is the minutes, consent minutes, or excuse me, call roll, please.
Okay. Ms. Logan?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Vasagi?
Here.
Ms. Hamilton?
Here.
Mayor Wolf?
Here. And that's why I have the city administrator on my right. Learn all that, keep me straight. I'm not embarrassed by that. That's why you have people on staff, right? All right, we're gonna get consent agenda for June the 9th. Councilman, have they been reviewed? Any questions?
No.
Comments? They accepted?
Yes.
Minutes are accepted. First thing on the agenda is now, right?
Good.
You're gonna give us an update, right?
Yes, so Dina Bautista with Atkins Reales. I'll give probably just an update on the 3 outstanding FEMA projects that were at top of mind, but overall, we do continue to do closeout for FEMA projects that have already been obligated and we've been spending money, so those continue to trickle in. We get questions throughout that process, but that is well on its way. But I will start with the pier. I'm sure everyone wants to hear about the pier. So good news there, it is moving through the FEMA queues. They have revised the cost based on the bids that we received. I know there's some discussion that costs have gone up because it's been so long since it was bid. But based on what was actually bid, they have revised that in the system. It's currently in insurance review with FEMA, so it's going through the queues. Next it'll go to environmental, but there's no changes there, so we don't expect any hiccups, and it will just hopefully continue through to obligation finally. I can't give a specific time frame, but we don't expect it to get hung up in any of the queues left through FEMA. The cost was the big thing that we were waiting to see happen, and that it has cleared that process. So currently the amount that FEMA has is around $9 million, which is what the bid showed. So that's good news, and I'll stop there to see if anyone has questions.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I think I understand everything you said about FEMA is about to, or essentially has given a verbal approval for our last bid that was sent to them, which is what this council voted for when we awarded the contract to RJ Gorman in December. I believe it was $9.9 million. And then that was sent to them in early January. Is that now the part that's been approved or soft approved?
Yes, correct. So it's cleared what we call that technical review, where they either agree or don't agree with the cost, and they have cleared that step. So they've agreed with the bid cost. I think it was, and don't quote me, I think roughly $45,000 was like an alternate to move it seaward. That was the only piece they didn't approve as part of the cost, but we didn't expect them to. So they've agreed with the bids, and now when you send it back to that step, it just has to go back through all the queues that it's been through before.
Right.
So it's really a formality, and that's what I mean by we don't expect any more hiccups. It's been through before. Nothing has changed except the cost, and now that it's cleared that hurdle, we expect it to just proceed towards obligation.
Well, yeah, so thank you for that
Mhm.
detail. However, I think we do expect hiccups because the bid price is gonna change because, yeah,
Because of the time.
because of the time. So I have questions about that, but maybe I'll let you finish.
No, go for it.
Well, so clearly the contractor's bid price had an expiration of April 15th.
Mhm.
And FEMA didn't even reopen until after, I believe it was a few days after April 15th.
Yeah.
So last I heard from the city administrator is we went back to the contractor and asked for a new revised best price, and that I think is still coming in.
We asked them to hold that price.
Yeah. And they
Okay.
couldn't.
And they could,
Yeah.
right. So I guess having said that, I don't have a question, other than I think we're gonna have to do this all again, right?
I've got a statement. It's like, okay, it's proceeding toward obligation. Is that gonna be 6 days or 6 months?
Yeah, that is a good question.
And I think that's a valid question that we deserve an answer on.
Yeah.
You know, a timeframe. Give us something, plus or minus 90 days. I mean, I don't know.
But
give
Tina,
us-
doesn't FEMA normally tell us anything? I've never seen anything less than 30 days for them.
Yeah, and I wish I could answer that. It's a very fair question. We can certainly put that question to FEMA. We won't get a specific answer. But I can tell you this, it is in currently insurance. It has to go from insurance to environmental review. But again, no changes have been made on those specific pieces. So the review should be fairly,
Insurance,
Right.
environmental, and then
it goes to kind of overall FEMA review.
overall.
And because it's over a certain threshold, it will have to go to FEMA headquarters and congressional approval. That's a formality again, but that typically takes several weeks. So that being said, you should, like, our advice to you would not be to hold up the process with the contractor, because the longer that gets drug out, probably the more you'd have to revise the cost again. Our suggestion would be let it go through to obligation. Once it's obligated, to address those additional costs, we can do what's called an amendment with FEMA. There's no guarantee they're going to approve the additional costs, unfortunately. We can put that forward as an amendment. It does not slow down the process now. So we let it move through, get it obligated. Once you have those costs, we can prepare an amendment. But the amendment process also takes time. So you won't know for sure whether they're going to approve that. You're gonna have to decide whether to move forward or not.
One of the things the council can be able to help us along, okay, is if in case, okay, and this is just a scenario, they come out and they say, okay, it's 10 million, but we got a $50,000 bill.
For 500,000.
We make a decision, we want to spend $50,000 against 10 million. So that becomes a pretty easy decision for the
Right.
council to
But if it-
work here.
But Mayor, if it's well north of an arbitrary 50,000, then
If
what
it's
I've been
500,000.
what I've been told is that there's an amendment process, but there's also a plus
20%.
plus 20% margin that FEMA is supposed to approve
If-
when this happens.
If the costs are deemed reasonable, then it could be eligible, yeah. But no guarantees.
So just to clarify for both the council and people watching, approaching 8 years post-Michael, it's probably going to be sometime after October before this is approved for obligation. I mean, I'm just asking you to be honest.
I would hope not, but I can't,
Well, I
Again,
think
we
our
can pose the
experience
question.
tells us not to.
yeah. But that being said, I will say, once it is obligated, even if there's additional costs that you're waiting on, you can start to draw down. So if you get the contractor going, and let's say they want to start with purchase of materials, well, that's already, once it's obligated, that's.
So you're
approved.
telling the council today that you would recommend us giving a notice to proceed to the contractor?
I think what I would say is the council needs to see what those additional costs are. I would say from a FEMA perspective, regardless of those additional costs. I wouldn't stop the process now to try to include those additional costs, because that takes it all the way back to the beginning of the FEMA process. So what I'm saying is, I would let it proceed through and then look at an amendment after it's obligated.
One of the, on the environmental side, that is not, the environmental side has already been approved.
Yes.
This is
Previous.
just a go through the Ts and Is and make sure it's through the attorney side of it, okay? It's not a whether environmental, are we good to go? We are good to go environmental. Just needs to be all written down. And
Yes.
it's going through attorneys right now.
And that happened, so again, it starts back to the process. So we had to send it back to the beginning of the process. We've already gone through this. It's cleared environmental previously. But to get the costs raised, FEMA wouldn't obligate it based on the original cost we turned in. They wanted to see the actual bids, and then they said, okay, give us the bids. If they're reasonable, we can revise the cost based on your actual bid costs. And that's what we just did. We sent it back to have them up it, because it was quite a bit less previously than where your bids are. Unfortunately though, it still has to go through each step now. And so it's cleared that step. We're going through those steps again, but they've already seen it and nothing has changed except the cost from the last time they saw it, which is why we're hopeful it proceeds quickly.
Yeah, so Dana, I think I understand you. You're suggesting that we know we have more work to do because our costs are going to change. But
Yeah.
You're suggesting that we don't throw that change order down now. We wait for the 9.9 million to get obligated,
Yes,
and then that sort of protects us from having to start all over again
with the FEMA
when we
process.
send in a change order.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. I can't make a recommendation on whether you award it or any of that, but from a FEMA perspective, I would recommend let it go through the queues, get it obligated, let's not slow it down again.
Right.
And then after the fact, we can go
So
back.
in the next 30 to 60 days, we're probably gonna have a special meeting. We'll probably get together and make that decision.
I guess, Mayor, the point I'm trying to make is, and look, 30 days after however many it's been is a moot point in my view. But if we drag it on out waiting for them to obligate it, it almost seems to me that we're better off from the financial side to say, if we don't do anything to get the contractor moving before this, prices are gonna go up again.
Right.
And maybe again, depending, I mean, if we don't get this thing obligated before December, I guarantee you they're gonna go.
And that's that fine line that we should not let happen again.
Right.
So
You
what
know,
is
we
it?
know our costs are gonna be more than what they've already approved.
So Steve, I hear what you're saying, and I resonate profoundly with it. But I think there's a downside risk. The downside risk is if we do anything to interfere with the current process of getting it obligated, then we're going to face the same frustration we've been facing in the last 8 years, which is we've done 2 change orders previous. This is our 3rd change order.
Well, I'm
and
not
that's why it's
saying
taking so long,
do
'cause
a
each
change
time-
order. We have a revised bid price, right? Or we're in the process of getting that. When we get that number, we know they've verbally approved the 9.9.
Right.
Yeah, I hate to say I don't trust the government, but I don't trust the government. Because fundamentally, they can say, yeah, well, you know what, we're not obligated. And then where's the city after we've told the con? It's kind of, how many chips are we willing to put in the middle of the
No,
table?
I understand. But I think we're in agreement around the table is that we want the $9.9 million out.
Absolutely.
No matter how long it takes to wait for that, we have to get over that hurdle.
And I will say, you don't have to clarify, if you move forward, let's say you get the change order from the contractor, you think it's reasonable, and you're willing to move forward knowing, let's say this is a really low number, but just for the sake, $50,000 more. And you think, okay, as a council, we're willing to take the risk on that $50,000. FEMA may not amend the project later, and you move forward. That is okay, as long, so that's not going to stop the FEMA process. The thing that would stop the FEMA process is if you say, well, we want you to take a look and revise the costs again
No,
now.
I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that based on the information we have, if the 9.9 goes to 10.4, That's a stark reality that they may not approve. But if we want to pier at some point, unless we're going to wait until the bloody end, just to say the government may react in 3 months or 10 months. And I'm just saying that based on,
There are some knowns though. I mean, the known is that we have a price and they're gonna increase it based on material. They're not saying that they're gonna change the scope.
no, I'm not
They're
advocating.
just trying to recoup some cost, tariffs, everything else that they, and that number can't be over 10%.
No.
Right.
It can't be. I mean, so it's not gonna get there.
So Steve, you're being implicit with something. And let me be explicit. I think what you're recommending is that this council cover the difference above 9.9 million if it's reasonable.
If it's reasonable, yes, because every minute we delay waiting on this obligation affects the growth of that
Totally
number.
agree.
So I think tell me if I'm wrong here. I believe we have enough information to say it's about 99 point some odd % that we're gonna get 9.9 toward this project. Is that,
I mean, there's always a risk, but there, you know,
Yeah,
it's been through the queue before. We expect it
100
to-
times it's been through the queue, not
Yes.
that many, but all I'm saying is, if we're not impacting the decision-making of FEMA as a council by telling the contractor, here's your notice to proceed. You can start buying materials. They're not gonna get started for probably 6 months anyway. Because once we give them the notice to proceed, they do have 364 or 5 days to get it done. So every minute we delay here delays the completion date of the pier. I mean, it really does. So if, as a council, we feel reasonably confident, based on our expert here, that we're gonna get 9.9, I think we just accept the fact that whatever the difference is, they may not approve it.
And that's where we need to get to. I think we're probably very close to that. I mean, that could be a decision we're making in the next
I hope so.
15 to 30 days, maybe, as soon as we get it.
Because the residents of this town, now, I think if you polled them, you'd probably get 70-80% would say, I don't think we're ever gonna get a pier.
I would agree with that. I think they're wrong, but that's the perception.
And it's probably, they're justified in that perception.
Well, it's not held up from anybody here in Mexico Beach.
No, and they understand that.
Well, I'm not so sure. All of them do. Most do, some don't.
I just think, Mayor, that as a council, we have to make a commitment to either go all in and say, tell our contractor, go. Because that speeds up when that thing gets finished.
Correct.
So, all right, so Dino, Steve asked a question a few minutes ago. Roughly how long does this process of obligation take? Is it up to 30 days? Is it 60 days? Is it 90 days? And I know that that's a normal distribution curve. It probably moves all over the place. But how many days has it been, as of today, roughly, since FEMA started looking at this obligation process? Is it 20 days, 30 days, 10 days?
So I believe they got the revised bids. I honestly don't remember, Eric, when we gave those, when they hit that queue. But I would say that's probably the longest review period I believe has passed, because that's where they had to dive in. This was new information, check each line item, decide whether they agreed that it was reasonable. And they've gone through that step.
And that's passed.
That's done.
Okay.
So it's left that queue.
But it's not even fair to them, based on not even being able to come to work. I mean,
Right,
it's
sure.
not been a normal environment.
I agree. They were shut down, FEMA was shut down for at least 3 months.
Okay, but let's just arbitrarily say April 15th. 2.5 months since they went back to work. And this was a re-review of a re-review.
Of a rate review, yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to the original question, give us something of a window.
Well, yeah, so my question is, so whatever process they're in right now, you said it's sort of passed, the really hard one is done.
Yeah, the new information
Okay.
piece of it.
Okay, so,
They've-
so since they walked through that gate, closed it behind them, and now they've got a couple more gates, but they're smaller gates, how long since the big gate behind them was closed? Is that 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I think it came out, and I should have checked the date, I think it came out of that gate, a week or two ago.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I will say, again, I can't give a time frame because I don't know, while FEMA was shut, projects were still coming through. And so I would guess they are backed up. Procedurally, it has to go through each of these steps again. They get the same clock. Now, there's no new information. It certainly helps if the council is willing to have someone sit in on the FEMA meeting and push and say, look, this is still our priority. You've seen this, now that it's left this queue, can you make sure this keeps moving quickly? That pressure is good, but I don't know in terms of their workload, how many other projects are backed up in the queue as well.
Well, let's put the pressure on them. I'll attend the next meeting with you guys. Let's go ahead and get together in 2 weeks. You come again, and if there's no progress, tell us no progress, or if there is, we want to know what the progress is and what our next step is. So let's go ahead and meet with them on this next meeting,
Okay,
and we'll put the pressure on them.
yep.
And it'll be 3 weeks. July 14th is our next meeting. Is that what you're?
Whatever the next meeting is.
Okay, yeah, and we'll definitely have some FEMA meetings between now and then, so you can.
And that'd be a good measurement, 3 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Any other questions on the pier?
Well, yes, but we don't want that.
Okay. Any FEMA questions on the pier? All right.
By all means, if anybody on the council has any questions, send them to her directly. Let's get them answered, and then we can discuss those answers here rather than the questions.
Okay, so the next one, the jetties, I think probably everyone knows that one's been obligated, and they did approve, if you remember, it got obligated, but then the bids came in higher. So we did go through that process of an amendment, that was approved. So currently the jetties is sitting at right around 4.3 million, which should match what those bids were. And I think Dave Reisen with Dewberry had sent an email asking, are we good to start? The contractor's thinking, what, October 5th? October 5th. So from a FEMA perspective, I would say yes. Everything's obligated and ready to go. So as long as you follow all of the contractual procedures required within the city zone requirements, you should be green lighted to start from a FEMA perspective. So, any questions there? Okay, and the last one, I'm sure everyone's talked about, and I visited with Sandy before the meeting, is the police fire. So we have been in discussions with FEMA about the location for years. We did get them a design package and study showing where the city has been planning to put this facility since the hurricane. They've reviewed that, and environmental has come back with some additional questions. So that is where we are, and we are meeting with them hopefully in the next 2 weeks with the environmental folks to get to the bottom of what their concerns are. But I don't know much more than that at the moment.
Just back it up a little bit. I mean, you just told us where we're at, but the reason we're here is because the council made a decision not to accept statements of they're not gonna approve it because it's wetland, right? So we decided we were gonna go ahead and force the issue, do all the drawings, send them over, and have them tell us no. They have not told us no yet.
They have not told us no, they've asked more questions. That is how I would put it.
Basically on movement or something like that.
I think their questions had to do with, so, to get to that facility, the access, right, crosses a wetland. And Dewberry did provide a report that shows that doesn't increase flooding on adjacent properties. It doesn't have an impact in terms of causing additional flooding. I think FEMA still has some questions about that to be sure. I mean, they have to follow what they call an 8-step process, which basically mandates that if there's no other place to put it, they have to go through that analysis to make sure there's no other practical location outside of a floodplain or wetland. And that site, currently, the design is not in a floodplain or a wetland. It is, I think the real hookup is how you get there, because you do have
It's
to,
the two access roads across the floodplain briefly.
Yeah.
Right?
Just like most of the roads in Mexico.
yes,
Right, like half my lot is whatever.
yes.
So the possibility is there that we may get a yes, or be told to just make some movement, rather than having to come up with
Right,
10,000
I think
different ways.
hopefully we're close to either a yes or a no, and then from that point, the city can determine
Right.
what to do.
There was a lot of discussion, because I know the design initially was for a combined one building, and then they wanted the design to be two separate buildings and a whole list of other, but at the end of the day, if they say yes, we're still probably only looking at getting $3-4 million for the project. That's gonna cost way more.
Not necessarily, because if they say yes, then they are, how do I phrase this? So they have agreed with the city finally that the previous location is not suitable from the same perspective. It's in a floodplain and it would cause impacts, more impacts than the current proposed location. So if they agree with the current location, that's called a forced relocation, because they've agreed, yeah, that other location is not suitable. If it's a forced relocation, then they will go back and look at the costs for the new site, because what they based those costs on was the old site. It's, I know that makes no sense, but it's again, going through those queues. The
It makes
first
perfect
queue,
sense.
yeah, the first queue is that technical review and cost, then it goes to environmental, and that's where environmental said, no, this can't go back here, and that's where we're negotiating, but they will revise the costs. I don't know whether they'll agree to the cost the city's put forward, but at least they'll base them on the new location and will be hopefully closer.
And we all like being closer, even though it still seems miles and miles away. Here's the issue I see, and I know you sense frustration coming from the table, and I apologize, because it's not you that's creating
Understood.
the problem. Here's the problem I see. We're currently in the same whirlpool with this that we've been in for years with the pier. And I'll say it again, 8 years post-hurricane, it won't be me, but there'll be a council, I think, the way this is going, sitting here 5 years from now, still trying to get that site developed. That's just my opinion.
Well,
Hopefully.
not. And while I share your pessimism in general with the federal government, this particular agency in particular, let's remember that one of the major reasons the pier has taken so long is there were a total of 3 change orders, right? The first one was they couldn't do the fish kill station with plumbing and electrical. So that was change order number 1. And then the second one was they wanted a sunshade at the end, and the environmental folks didn't like it because it would harm a bird. So that was change order number 2. Now we're on change order number 3. So in theory, if we don't have any more change orders for the 25-acre site, hopefully it shouldn't take.
Well, and the other thing that slowed the pier down is the pier's not going back in the original pier footprint. So that environmental process took a lot longer because the city wants to shift it seaward, and it's not the same footprint. And that's kind of, when you think about it, the same scenario here. We're not going back at the same location of the same footprint, which triggers all of this environmental review.
And if you want an answer from the government, they've already given us an answer, and we refused it and fought it. Is that not true? They told us to go ahead and rebuild on 4th Street.
14th Street, yes, yeah.
Yeah, they told us to go. We got an answer from them. We're just fighting that answer.
Well, and Mayor, I understand that, and what this council and previous council have tried to do is do what's best for the city. That's what we're obligated to do. My frustration, and I know everyone else's frustration, is that trying to do the best for the city means we can't push the ball down the court. Nothing is happening, nothing physical is happening. And when I hear about environmental review, I can see this project back here going through the same little whirly dervish that the pier has gone through now. Hopefully we have no change orders. We don't know that until, you know, we get further down the line. But if it has to go, for God help us, because there's no responsiveness in my view to this agency where it just takes whatever it takes. And if it takes 6 months to get through this department, it takes 6 months. That's my view of it.
That's probably a good deal. I mean, that's sad, but that's.
I think it's accurate.
Government works.
I think it's accurate.
And if my department kicks it back to Eric's department, and then he takes another 6 months, and then I take another 6 months. It's just,
Hopefully when we're sitting on the pier, looking over at the water, we can all say it was worth it, right? And when we're all in their offices at the city, we could say
when
that.
we're having a meeting in a real meeting room.
Right, exactly, yeah. Rather than public works, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to me.
No worries.
We're just passing our government frustration on right a little bit. We'll see you in 3 weeks though, okay?
Okay, no more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, crossover dunes, we're gonna talk about, can we talk about both of them at the same time, or do we have to do them separately?
I was gonna do it at the same time.
Well, all right, so we're doing both, right? They're basically the same,
Yep, same thing.
same thing, so let's go ahead and talk about the dune walkovers, 7th Street, and also the Sunset Park.
But you're gonna need separate votes, Mayor.
Correct,
On the
correct.
change order.
Correct.
Good morning, Emily Thomasy, Anchor CEI. So you have 2 change orders from MKM Construction in front of you, one for 7th Street dune walkover and one for Sunset Park dune walkover. These change orders cover the cost to shift the dune walkovers closer to the dune and also to add wood planking to the bottom of the walkover structures. These changes came at the request of FWC during environmental permitting. The shifting of the walkover frees up some of the beach space to allow for more turtle nesting habitat. And then adding the wood planks to the bottom of the walkover just ensures that no turtles are going up underneath the dune walkover structure and nesting there. Based on our conversations with FWC, this is going to be a design standard that they're requiring from here on out, just to ensure that we're leaving plenty of space for the turtles to nest. So we have gone ahead and we are implementing these same standards to the dune walkover 3 structure that we have in design in our office currently. If you look at the change orders, there are line items for bonds on there. It's about $4,500. I did talk to Maria at MKM Construction, and it was her understanding that the city required the bonds on any projects over $150,000. I'm not sure if that's correct, but she said she's happy to take those costs off the change orders if the city doesn't want to pay those, but it's a good safety net to have the bonds on the project, so I recommend keeping them on there, to have them there.
So were you showing the change orders on one of them at 26,075, and one at 26,270, that you're saying that there's $5,000 in each one of those?
About $4,500 in each one
Okay.
for the bond.
All right.
And when the project went out to bid, the invitation to bid said any projects over $150,000 need to have the bond. And so her bids came in under 150, so she didn't have them, but now that she has a change order that brings her over, she added it in. It's up to the city, but it is a good safety net to have it on the project.
So I had a long conversation with Elizabeth yesterday about all this. I don't really have any concerns. I'm gonna bring my frustration hat out to the table. This is ridiculous that it's taking too long, but also the cost balloon. I believe last summer during our budget season, we were rough order of magnitude estimating these at $40,000, and now look at this, we're up to officially $138,000. No, sorry, $164,000 with any change order. My own personal opinion on the bonds is we need to keep them. Not only did we just trip the $150,000 contract amount that sort of requires them, but let's remember these 2 are our first, right? They're our first 2 walkovers. It's the prove into the process, and we all know the first time you try something new, whether it's built-in pure walkovers or taking up a new instrument, playing guitar, you're gonna make
Eric,
all
you have a
mistakes.
question, sir?
Yes. Well, no, Mayor, I have a statement. we should keep the bonds for these first couple, as well as maybe the next 2 or 3 or 4, because I think we're gonna learn more. With each of the first couple of successive walkovers, we're gonna figure out a couple of things. We're gonna need the safety net of these bonds. Once we have, I don't know, 5 built, and we still have 15 or 20, or how many more that this council wants to build, by then, hopefully, they should all be something of a standard process, standard cost, quick turnaround. Then we can drop the bonds. But I think, even if it was less than 150,000, I think we should keep the bonds for the first.
Emily, go ahead. You finished?
That's,
Okay.
unless there's questions.
I had a couple of questions also. Go ahead, Steve.
I was just gonna say, I also had a long conversation with Elizabeth, and, like Eric, I'm super frustrated at the cost of these things. And I know that we want them to be super nice, and, you know, having Trex decking is obviously nicer than wood decking. But here's the reality, that Trex will blow away in a hurricane, just like wood will. And the magnitude of cost difference, and I know the walkover at Paradise Shores is not the same, but that walkover is built for about $70,000. So I think as a council, we need to look in the mirror real hard and say, is this overkill? Because everything, if you've got Trex on a wood substructure, that wood is, when the wood goes away and it has to be repaired, guess what? The Trex has to come off. So I don't know that the council is being wise putting Trex on these things, number one. Number two, I think the city should require a performance bond on every project over 150,000. We've got project after project after project that we've witnessed that has not stayed on schedule. The contractor finished it when they got dang well good and ready, and there was no financial penalty to the contractor. So I'm in favor of bonds. Mayor, that's all I've got.
I'm in favor of bonds also. I know we're required to have a bond. It tells us why, and it secures the city. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So I think that you're gonna hear that consensus probably at the table. I had some questions on just the increase. They are actually changing the depth of the pylons. Is that true?
Because they're shifting further into the dune, they will likely have to change the depth, since they're building more on the slope of the dune now, since we're shifting up into that area.
Okay, where does the price increase come from? Because of the depth, because we're driving deeper, or what?
Yes, but a
More
lot,
boards or what?
yes, because they may have to drive deeper, but also a lot of it's the wood planking that's at the bottom of the structure now. They have to add wood slats everywhere.
Where it was regularly open,
It was
and then put
open.
slats on the back?
Yes.
Backside, okay.
Yeah, they have to add the wood planks now, and I think there's only about 1 inch of space allowed between, just to ensure that turtles aren't crawling up underneath the dune structure and nesting. So that is, when I talked to Marie at MKM, she said that is a big majority of the price, is just the additional labor and materials to add the planking around anywhere on the dune walkover that's on the seaward side of the dune.
Okay, so basically, if we look at what we're currently asking, we're asking for an increase on both these jobs, with the bond included. They come with the 26,075 and 26,270.57.
Yes.
That's what we're asking for, because we've already approved the other ones. That's already been done. Council agree to that? Okay, so we're here for an approval of the increase.
Is there gonna be public discussion?
In a minute. We can,
Sorry.
if you had some questions.
Yeah, I just had a few questions. I didn't know if y'all were getting ready to make a motion on increasing.
So I just want to get it back on track on what we're looking at. I mean, we're looking at the increase, we're not looking at the actual price anymore, even though it's a concern, but we've already approved that. If we wanted to back away from it completely, we wouldn't approve the increase, I guess. But Jason, if you had a question, come on up.
Yeah, I have a couple items. Some of you already talked about it. Jason Adams, Water Drive, Mexico Beach. The first question, and we've talked about this when I was here at the table, I thought we were just waiting on the DEP permits. I know we missed the turtle season, the beginning of turtle season, and so we're dealing with that. There was some talk about, they gave us a 2-week window, we didn't know about it. But then I seen this, and it's actually went to a full-blown change order. So the reason why I bring that up, and I'm not gonna beat this horse too much, is it just seems like this project should have been completely vetted, whatever you wanna call it, done before it went to bid. So we have approved the bid. And one question why I bring up the bid, we approved Sunset Park, the TDC was agreeing to pay for Sunset Park. And I couldn't remember if we had officially, and y'all can save all these answers for one time, did 7th Street actually get funded? I didn't think that we actually made the decision to fund 7th Street yet. There was some talk about Parks and Recs funds, but I won't go into that, so that's one question. But the main thing here is, here we are, the project, y'all talked about it. We thought we'd spend 70, 80,000, we agreed to the 140-ish, you know, and now we're at 26,000 increase, and it's nothing against the contractor. I mean, the whole project basically moved. I mean, it's the length, it got pulled in, so it created all that. So somehow we've got to get that where everything's done before we go out to bid, because we're sitting here where we've awarded bids and now we got this. So I'll end that there. One of the other things, I'm glad y'all touched on bonds, is if you'll look at the change order tracking sheet at the end of your packet, in the original bid, there was a 5% total contract base bid amount, bonds and insurance, $7,500. I reviewed that. That number seems, you know, 5% came out to around $7,000 or so. And then you go back to current change order, because y'all brought up this bond amount, because that was one thing that jumped out at me in the change order, that the bond was $4,400 just in the change order. So we've talked about, yeah, the project should be bonded. And it looks like it was bonded in the original price. The original bid had a bond amount. So then we come back to this change order, and they may come up, I don't know the ratio, but if you do the 5% of the 26,000, you know, it's only about, what is it, $1,700. So there was some questions I had on the bond. I'm with y'all, we should be bonded, but it looks like the majority of the bond was in the original bid. So we want to make sure, I know she said she could take it out, but is she taking out bond of this change order bond? Or was she saying I'll take out both, but that's not something that I agree it's in the bond. So we just need to, and back to the question is, that's another thing as far as you've picked up on it, I hope y'all all picked up on it, but as we're vetting these, because, you know, change orders come in and you start looking at, like the mayor was asking, like, where do these numbers come, you know? And it makes it tough. I think rewinding to the original, and I'll get off the block, is trying to make sure these projects, I know things jump up, but this one here I was sitting here, I guess we never really had the info from FWC, DEP, but then I was under the impression that, hey, we got through that, we're just waiting on this permit, and we're gonna go ahead, and now obviously y'all see it, 25,000, 26,000 on each walkover. So that was just some of mine, if y'all will check into, have Mel, a few things. Thank you.
My real question.
Emily, can you just answer the bond question?
Well, I know that they, MKM also had a bid bond on the project. the
Okay.
project out in bid. I can ask Maria to clarify that, but that 5% may have been her bid bond.
Okay.
Because I
Is that
know
what it
there's,
is?
yeah, I know they've got the performance and payment bonds once they get the project, but then when they submit a bid, they have the bid bond as well. But I mean, I can have her clarify that just so we have it.
Okay, so that's more of a, what you call
I think
it?
that's what a bid
Okay,
bond.
okay,
yeah.
that makes.
And as far as the permitting goes, so FDEP is the clearinghouse, basically. Whenever you submit an environmental permit, it goes to FDEP, but they send it out to the other agencies. FDEP had no issues with the dune walkovers, but FWC was the one who made the requests to make the changes. So we do have the FDEP permit, but it says with these conditions, you need to shift it more into the dune and you need to add the planking. There are dune walkovers between here and Pensacola that don't have the planking. I think this is a new requirement. I don't know if they've had some issues with turtles getting up under dunes and maybe the hatchlings can't get back out once they've hatched. And so maybe those walkovers were grandfathered in, but this is just a requirement that they have now.
So basically what we were doing is we were basically taking this after permitting, they're telling us to move it. So after that, we increase the
Well,
cost increase from there.
Yeah, it was kind of like a conditional permit. Yes, you can do this, but this is, you need to change the layout, you need to add these.
I.e. going back to the
Right.
building and getting
Yep.
the additional cost.
And we do have the permit in hand, but because it's turtle nesting season, they will not let you get out there and work. They are working on an amendment that allows MKM to get out there and do some work, but we did get a permit that said that they could get out there and they have a 2 or 3 week window to get the piles in the ground. But the directions in the permit, the amended permit, it was very conflicting information, and we didn't want to get out there and have any work done without a clear permit that said exactly what we were allowed to do. So we sent it back to them and asked them to revise, and we're just waiting on that now.
One of the frustrations with citizens and also with council, obviously, is cost, so we're
Right.
questioning that all the time. But the other one is the movement, when are we gonna get it done
Right.
timely? Are we not under the gun that we have to let them know today or tomorrow? As far as driving these pylons because of the turtle season?
We haven't gotten an answer back from FDEP on if we have an opening for turtle nesting season to work. So,
So we okay it today, are pylons getting driven?
it won't be today, it won't be until FDEP gives us a clear permit that says, yes, you're allowed to go out and start working during turtle nesting season under these requirements and parameters. Because there has to be like a daily turtle nesting survey done. So what we were trying to do was get the change orders approved so that once we get that approval from FDEP, we're not waiting on anything else. We can tell Maria, here's your notice to proceed, get started, you have this window, we have to get it done in this window.
My conversation with Elizabeth is that we're under the gun for
Well,
that time.
We asked FDEP when we sent it back to them last week, we said, we'd really like to start construction on the 24th, which is tomorrow. I don't know if they're gonna get it approved in time, but if they do, then great, we could start tomorrow, but we can't do anything without the change order, so.
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, I guess maybe I'm lost. Turtle nesting season's coming up, but it's July 1st. Today's not July 1st. Why can't we start?
It starts April 30th was our deadline, and we didn't get it. We basically redesigned it at the
That's right.
11th hour.
I'm gonna be
Shut
honest, I think this council and the citizens ought to just accept the fact that we're probably not gonna get approval from FWC to start construction until after turtle season. I'm gonna say something else, Mayor, tied into the financial side of this. How this city, based on the costs for these walkovers, I see no way financially we can spend $1.5 million building walkovers if we add 10 more. That's
So
just-
that was my conversation with Elizabeth yesterday, and just briefly, like, is this our new normal? $164,000 each? Because, again, the first couple times you do something, you pay for all the costs, and we had all these change orders, but will dune walkovers number 4, 5, 6, and 7 come down in cost in any meaningful way?
No. Some of the comparative pricing that we found, it's between $1,200 to $1,300 a linear foot for walkovers in the Panhandle. We can put alternates in the bid that, like, not using the Trex, and you can kind of pick and choose when you get there and say, this is way more than we wanted. What if we don't do the Trex, we just do the
Right.
wood decking, and you can lower the cost, but,
But not by a
I mean-
meaningful amount.
yeah.
You have some, Jason?
Just, I would hope that the other ones, Eric, you know, we've talked about it here quite a bit. We're getting real limited on where, these are true ADA walkovers, and that added, I don't know, Emily might can tell us the percentage, not that we need to go to that point. Obviously, we got these two at hand, but you're right, I don't know what they're gonna be, but like you said about the Paradise Shores, that is not technically, but it's close. I've talked to them, yes, it was 80,000, so I don't know. And just one more thing on the, I understand, maybe that was a bid bond and the 4,400. Just, we need to check to make sure does the 4,400 cover the whole amount? Is that what that was?
Yeah, it should, she reached out to the bonding company, it'll be enough to cover the project.
But the 75 was something, you think it was more
Well,
than
that's
10?
for insurance and bond, so I'll ask her,
Okay.
I'll have her clarify if that was the bid bond and then insurance for the project.
All right, any other questions on this, before we move forward on it, or?
I did have a question on the Sunset Park walkover. Mexico Beach CDC is paying for that. So are they willing to also pay for the adjusted 26,000?
I've got the answer. No,
No.
I
It's
got
not
the
in the
answer
budget.
now.
It's not in the budget.
it's not in the budget.
Yeah,
And
but
there's no
it-
guarantee it would be in the budget for next year. I mean, we'd have to request it.
So remind me what they did commit to. What was the dollar amount?
I thought it was,
138?
Yeah, they- Julie, you have that number? What they-
The one for Sunset Park is 145, 442.56.
Okay, so we have to cover the $26,000 in a
Right.
budget amendment, or is this gonna bleed into next budget season and we can budget for it then?
No, it's gonna be coming out of funds, it would come out of general funds, it wouldn't have anything to do with the budget. Correct? Fine.
I do know Mel did have a conversation with Kimberly Sherriff, and that, you know, this budget season, it was, you know, not something that would be eligible to be covered necessarily, but that there was thought that she could try to see what she could do for next budget season. So, you know, given that, yeah, council has to figure that we're.
I'm gonna bring this down,
Worst case scenario.
down to where we're at here. We have two bids, we've seen the increase, we've been discussing them, I think we pretty much understand why they have an increase, because of the movement. And if that's the case, that's the price. I think we need to move on these two, get going, and then figure out for the future if we're gonna cut some costs by telling them we're gonna have 5 more done in the next 5 years or whatever. But we could work all that out. I know we're talking about down on Canal Street, a couple other ones, so. My suggestion is go ahead and get this going, because I think we're behind the 8 ball already. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the change order for 7th Street walkover in the amount of $26,750, which should bring the total project up to $164,630.24.
Sorry, Ms. Hamilton, it's
Is-
$26,075.
Oh, okay, because I had 750 on my sheet.
I'm looking at.
Typo.
Okay, all right. You wanna go ahead and redo that motion, just real quick?
So it should be 75, not 750, is that what you're
Right.
saying? Okay.
the front sheet
Okay.
has
Oh,
got one too
75.
many zeros.
Oh, okay.
There's a typo. I'm looking at change order sheet number 1.
Okay, so make a motion to approve the change order for the 7th Street walkover in the amount of $26,075. Is
And I'll
that
second.
correct? And that would bring the total then up to the 164, or is there another amount on that?
No, you're exactly right.
$164,630.24.
I'll second.
Motion and second, take a roll, please.
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes,
Mr. Casagi,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Sunset Park?
I'll make a motion that we approve the change order to the Sunset Park walkover for $26,270.57, making the total contract price $171,000 $171,713.13.
Second.
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Vasagi,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes. Okay, the next three items, item 4, 5, and 6 are all for basically the same one. On the 6th one, there's gonna be it's a quasi judicial, so if there's anybody that's gonna speak from the audience, they'd have to be sworn in, and the same thing at the council. We'll get to that after we go through 4, 5, and 6. So let's get started on number 4, ordinance. We have a motion to read ordinance 886.
I'll make a motion to read ordinance 886 by title only.
I'll second it.
Can we take the roll?
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Vasagi,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Ordinance 886, an ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, providing for the voluntary annexation of approximately 2.5 acres, being parcel identification number 04102-040-000, providing a legal description of the lands to be annexed, more specifically described and depicted in this ordinance as petitioned by the property owner pursuant to section 171.044 Florida statutes, providing for the redefining of the city's boundaries to include said lands, making certain findings, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, we'll open to the public. Any comments on Sunset Voluntary?
This will be a public hearing.
Or what we also? Okay, so we have to ask
Just
for,
open a public hearing.
open the public, okay.
That's all you
We're open to public. Any questions or anything at the table?
Is this what you're showing up here right now?
Yeah, just it has to do with the Sunset gas station. It was never annexed in the beginning. They had a period that they had to go through. And now we're putting that annexation into effect.
Thank you.
So then you'll close the public hearing, Mayor.
All right. Close the public hearing and discussion at the table. A motion to approve or deny 886.
I'll make a motion to adopt, ordinance 886.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Take a roll, Tammy, please.
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Vasagi,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
And Tammy, you'll need to provide a copy of that to the electric company pursuant to the franchise agreement.
And I might know some 409 7th Street, just in case you need that.
Okay. We're on ordinance 887, amending the comprehensive plan, future land use map.
I'll make a motion we read ordinance 887 by title only.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second.
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Vasagi,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mayor Wolf.
Yes.
Ordinance 887, an ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, amending the comprehensive plan future land use map, redesignating a parcel of property consisting of approximately 2.5 acres, being parcel identification number 04102-040-000, from Bay County mixed land use to Mexico Beach general commercial, providing for scrivener's errors and local construction, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Right. Open a public hearing. Public discussion. Close the public discussion. Any discussion at the table? No motion to approve or deny ordinance 887.
Make a motion to adopt and approve ordinance 887.
I'll second it.
No motion second, take the roll please.
Ms. Logan?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes.
Before this one, Mayor, any council member that needs to make a disclosure of having a discussion with the applicant, that disclosure would need to be done now.
Anybody at the table? No. Anybody from the public?
It's only the council that can
Okay.
make that disclosure.
Good.
Make a motion that we make a second reading of ordinance 888 by title only.
I'll second it.
Motion second, take the roll.
Ms. Logan?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes.
Ordinance 888, an ordinance of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, amending the zoning map, designating a parcel of property consisting of approximately 2.5 acres, being parcel identification number 04102-040-000 as Mexico Beach General Commercial, providing for scrivener's errors and road construction, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Open public discussion.
So the hearing and then this hearing.
Is it a quad page, is just a hearing? Does anybody need to be sworn in? No? And nobody at the table? Good.
Yes, sir. You can close the public
We're
hearing.
gonna close the public hearing. The discussion at the table. No discussion at the table. We have a motion to approve or deny. 888.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 888.
I'll second.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Logan?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mr. Vasaki?
Yes.
Mayor Wolf?
Yes. Thank you, city attorney, for keeping us straight, legal.
Never really battle,
All right. All right, TPO update, we're gonna have an update, we were gonna have an update from Mr. Vasaki, but I guess we're gonna pass on that.
Yeah, I was scrambling to get materials for this meeting and I didn't get the last piece of, I didn't get the last thing I wanted to share with the public until yesterday, so I'll have it ready for our next meeting.
All right, we'll hold it over to the next meeting, if we gotta put that on there, the agenda. 2 seconds here. Fiscal 26-27 trim budget calendar. Mr. Mike.
Morning, everyone. This is similar to the calendar that I provided last year. I put in arbitrary dates for our workshop meetings. We did them on Fridays last year. That's up to the council. If you want to change your July 10th, July 17th, and your July 24th meeting, you know, that we can discuss. If you don't want them on Fridays, that's fine. Those are the only dates that you have that you can possibly change. Once we hit August 24th, we are dictated by the state's and the county's calendar. So, and the August 4th date is a very important date that we have to have everything done so I can file the DR 420. If we don't, and we don't make that deadline because we can't agree on the millage rate or we can't agree on what we're wanting to do with the budget, then if we miss filing that DR 420, everything reverts back to a rollback rate. So whether we want to increase, decrease, or remain the same as a millage rate, if we don't make that August 4th date, we're falling back to a rollback date. And I don't think we want to do that. So again, up to the council on those first 3 budget meetings. If you liked Fridays, we can keep them that way. These meetings can be at any time. It's your September, our first tentative public budget meeting and hearing has to be after 5 o'clock, and then the final one has to be after 5 o'clock. But the ones prior to that can be any time, any days that you want. Again, on the calendar, I just put Fridays because we did them last year on Fridays.
Any questions, Madam Chairman?
So if we hold to Fridays in July, the 10th, 17th, and the 24th, I'm on vacation. I can't make the 17th and the 24th. If we move them to Wednesdays, I can make the first two on the 8th and the 15th, but I'll be out for the third one and the 22nd. So that's just for discussion.
I don't have any conflicts right now.
Yeah.
Oh, don't need.
Yeah, let's take the remainder of this week to see if there's any conflicts, get it to the city administrator, and we'll go ahead and put something together here that we could, all agree on. Have to do it this week though, because it's right around the corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mayor, I assume like last year, you don't need me at any of those meetings.
The one or two, there's some things coming up that we might, we'll talk
You'll let
about
me
that.
know.
Yes.
Okay.
Mike, just so the council understands, I know that they talk to you and I talk to you separately. I mean, we know that it all goes on. We try to keep track of financial and budgets and everything going on. I just want, I don't think it's too early to start talking to the citizens about what's going on either. I mean, we all know that, we have this extra tax that's gonna be voted on, so we're looking at that. We're trying to figure out how that's gonna affect the city, that's gonna impact us to some degree, so we all have to be aware of that and start asking those important questions. I've already had Mike start gathering some information for me that I've requested to look at. There's something going on with how we show the money that we pay for FEMA for projects. We've never had to do that before, so if our
Yeah, so-
budget.
If you don't mind, going into the budget project, right now, we basically budget a general fund and then the enterprise fund, so basically for 4 funds. During the audit, which I'm gonna talk about in the department head comments, it was cited that, by Florida statute, that any type of money that we spend has to be budgeted. We have a disaster relief / Hurricane Michael fund that we've not budgeted. It's basically an in and out fund. We spend the money and then FEMA reimburses back. But the state says you got to budget for it. So we're going to create a new fund that we will budget for. We're just kind of taking it out of the general fund and making it its own fund. But we also have to create a new fund for our impact fees. The auditors and the state have come up with a new directive that our impact fees, instead of being buried inside the general fund and the water fund and the sewer fund, they want a fund that says impact fees so we can track the income and the expenses from those as well. So we'll be creating, there'll be 2 more funds added to the budget process this year. And all we're basically doing is stripping them out of our original budget. We're just making them
If you're
more.
getting surprised, I mean, the surprise could be, you're looking at a bottom line budget number of 9 million, that all of a sudden could be 19 million. Okay, but it's all separate of. road.
Yeah, because inside of that disaster fund budget, you know, we're gonna have to throw the pier in there, we're gonna have to throw the jetties in there, and police and fire in there.
And that's gonna happen across the state. I mean, everybody will be affected the same way, but you're gonna be looking at a budget number that's 3 times the amount of what the normal budgets from Mexico Beach would be.
And then, of course, the other thing that the mayor hit on was, in November, it's going to the voters of Florida, to what they want to do with the property tax. Mel and I have gotten some information, and we've looked at last year's stuff. I don't know, I don't think the impact to Mexico Beach is going to be as significant as it will be to, say, the little town I live in. I just before the council meeting, I looked at last year's tax roll. We only had 300 482 homesteaded homes here in Mexico Beach. And of course, that property tax reform that the governor is proposing and is going to put on the ballot is for just homesteaded homes. So if we are looking at roughly 1,300 homes in the city of Mexico Beach, and only 382 of them are homesteaded, so you can pretty much figure that I don't think the impact of this new proposal is going to affect us as much as it can other communities. But it will still affect us. I mean, you know, it's, there will be a tax revenue loss for the city, but it won't be as big as some other municipalities will suffer.
The rough numbers I ran were, even if the ballot measure passes in November, which frankly I expect it to, it's really only going to affect 40% of our property taxes. The way our property taxes are structured between the city, the county, and the schools. And then on top of that, only 20% of Mexico Beach homes are homesteaded. So we're talking about a loss of only 20% of 40%. So that's a much smaller number. Now, it's not insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I guess the devil's in the details, because the next legislative session is where the state gets to determine how the local communities are going to be refunded with other taxes. And that's a 2027 problem, not a 2027.
Yeah, so the big key here is that all the council be aware, never too early to start thinking about budgets. Have questions, ask them now, let's get them answered. Mike's on top of all this, I guarantee you. It's just, we need to make sure that we know there's some things coming up that are gonna change.
Got a question for Mike. The 382 homesteaded last year, that's a finite number that you have locked in, because personally, I expect quite a few more homesteads to come up that may or may not be actual legal
And it was written, I mean, people have discussed that there might be some folks that will try and get a homestead, but there are checks and balances to make sure that if they don't qualify for the homestead, then they won't.
Well, it'll be interesting to
Yes.
see, because it mirrors the voting issue, where we have registered voters who are not actually legal residents. So keep that in mind. There will be.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's above my pay grade, and that's going to be handled over that way.
Exactly.
I can't police that.
I just want to answer, do you have a question, Jason?
This one, I've been following it to some degree, so it goes to the voters in November. He says that if it gets passed, it will be introduced in January 27th, but I guess what I'm looking for is, when is the effect gonna get down? Is it gonna be really a next year's?
I think it's going to be not this budget cycle, it will be the next budget cycle.
I mean, it's good to prepare.
Correct.
But it gives you time to know it's not gonna be an immediate, we just lost this amount of money and we have no way to.
No, we will know.
You'll know this year
process of next year to prepare for next year's budget.
And just so we're clear, Mike, I think I know the reason you just said that, because if the ballot initiative passes in November, it only goes from 50,000 to 100,000 on January 1st, and then it's 250,000 the following. Is it 150? But then it doesn't jump to 250 until the following January.
But I guess what I'm saying is, you won't see that home, you have to be in your home before December 31st to claim. So it seems to me like it's really going to start affecting the 27 and 28 budget.
Correct.
More than this 26.
And just one more clarification, it has to go to this, but also what Ms. Logan said. There's a 5-year minimum waiting period for homesteaders. So if you move to Florida within like say 3 years ago, you're still not eligible until you hit your 5-year clock.
That's part of this amendment.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's
just
a
will
change,
say,
right now, you move in, you go
Today,
down.
yeah. Today,
that
yes.
doesn't change.
Well, you can file between January and March 31st.
Yeah, whatever the timing is.
Yeah.
Just a question, it's not related to property taxes, and this is, I guess, for the attorney. We've all shopped in other areas of Bay County, and I was just curious whether you shop in Panama City or Panama City Beach. There is a local city sales tax.
Yes.
That's not,
No, 1%. Panama City is 1%.
I think they have an extra half.
Thank you, Mike.
they have an extra half.
So I guess for municipalities, and as we all sit here, we know this is a vacation area, and we've got second and third homes here. But this is a real problem for areas, and Mike lives in Apalachicola, but when you think about Calhoun County, Holmes County, people north of here that, and in other counties that frankly, second homes and tourism is not a revenue generator. So it's gonna be a big deal. I just wondered, do cities have the authority to pass a local sales tax?
Well, it has to be voted on.
By the public.
By the public typically. There may be some exceptions to that, but primarily it's voted on. So, you know, if you think about sometimes it passes, sometimes it doesn't. Hospital sales tax years ago didn't pass. But you're gonna know it when it's coming.
Now, that's interesting because for all the years I've been here, this question has come up. Why don't we have a city sales tax? It's come up multiple times. The answer always was, we cannot implement a city sales tax. So I don't know.
Well, it has to be approved by not only the city, but I believe the county has to approve it, and perhaps the state, I don't know. I've never had
I think it's the
anybody
state, isn't it?
generate a sales tax on it, or ask about it, so I don't know.
If we said to get a set, we're gonna get a tax cut, now we're talking about adding a tax?
Well, no, Mayor, I was just thinking because there's gonna have to be something for these communities, and thankfully, we won't feel the impact that other communities do, but it's gonna be real and painful till, you know, it's like, where's that revenue when you're a rural county? How do you pay for your schools? How do you have your fire department? How does public works get paid? Because if the money goes, if the average home and I'm just picking Calhoun County, but 250,000 is probably a pretty nice home up there. When all that is now exempt from property taxes, where's the revenue come from?
I've heard some discussion, haven't seen anybody weigh in on it, some discussion about whether or not there would be a different commercial tax rate. Don't know if that's legal or not, but there's been some discussion about that.
That's insane.
So
Personally,
so,
lower one, raise the other.
so actually, Steve, I think we are gonna be affected in Mexico Beach because.
Well, not to the magnitude of some of
No,
the-
but our biggest effect is not gonna come from the Mexico Beach portion of the property taxes, it's gonna come from Bay County.
Right.
I think our Bay County taxes are gonna go up next year. If not for a statewide sales tax, I see that as a real possibility. But I see Bay County raising their 1% to 2%. So my question to you is, how does that work? Is the county just gets together and says, yep, we're now 2% instead of 1%? How does the Bay County tax increase work?
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Well, and
Now, they
The
can
Bay
increase
County-
their millage rate.
Right.
well,
Well-
they will increase their millage rate, but for a homesteaded person, you're protected. The maximum that can go up is 3%.
Correct, which is why I think an increase in the county sales tax is probably coming. That's my personal opinion.
All right, obviously, there's a lot of conversations going on from, other than this, from this table, okay? So keep those going with Mike and the city administrator and your thoughts and what things we need to look at for the future. I agree with the impact. The impact's probably not gonna hit us till the next budget. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be looking at it this budget. We can half it by the next budget. If we take care of 50% of that problem in this year without being impacted, that's 50% we're ahead going into the second year. So. there's advantages here. Thank you, Mike. All right, citizens' comments. Before we go to citizens' comments, just make a quick, staff asked me to make a quick comment, and I will. We want to try to abide by 3 minutes as best as we can, okay? So if you're a citizen, you have comments, take your 3 minutes, take it to 3 minutes and 10 seconds, whatever. But we want to see if you can try to hold it to that, and also, if you have a point, make that point early so that we can get it on our notes and maybe get back to you on it. Any citizens' comments?
Carter Dorsch, 33rd Street. I can assure you this will be shorter than 3 minutes. I heard.
Oh,
I
I said that was April Fool's, but we're not April.
I don't know what it did. I'm
The
sorry.
lady's name was Emily, is that correct? She had mentioned about the 14th Street property, being deemed not suitable. So my question, really out of curiosity, is what are the next steps for that property? That is, being in real estate, between the pier and the jetties and all that, that's one of the questions we get asked about a lot. Just about the 14th Street property with the city. What would be the next steps with that?
Okay.
Anyway, that's my question.
Yeah, I can tell you just from the mayor's side of it, I've had conversations with the city administrator, I've had conversations with some realtors, I've had conversations with some developers, asking what type of things we want to do with it. And I think we have to bring it to the council and come up with a solution. To let it sit there and not, I mean, if we get $1 million bill from the pier, there's $1 million we can sell that place and do something. So, I think we have to do something on 14th Street. I don't think there's a plan right now.
That was my thing, is, whether you put a police fire building there or not, you're still in a flood zone, and you're still gonna have to go elevate, so that was my question is,
Yeah, we shouldn't be sitting on land. We've been sitting on land at 37th Street for how long? Why are we doing that?
Yes, so I just didn't know if y'all had a plan to proceed with a sale or what. I mean, it's just, when people go back there, it's the number one question they ask is, what's gonna happen with this?
Yeah, I don't know yet, but there are conversations going on within the city staff.
All right, thank you.
If you have any suggestions, we're open to it also.
No, I don't have a suggestion. Make it nicer than what it is now, that's the one thing I can say.
That wouldn't take much.
Okay, hang on, before you start, let me just make sure
You're
this
done.
doesn't duplicate like I just did. Okay,
It'd be the first time.
okay, go. Sorry.
John Harrell, representing special events for Mexico Beach, but you all know I live at First Street. Just an update, fireworks are coming. We have our 5K Sandy Shoes Run under the palms at 7 a.m. Pickup for the packages, which are your bibs, your numbers, your t-shirts, stuff like that, will be at the El Governor on July 3rd. Please do not come before 10 o'clock. We will not be ready, so you will not be able to be served. It's from 10, I believe, to 4 or 6, I can't remember. But don't get there at 9:15 and expect us to be able, we're not going to be ready for you, okay? So please be patient. We've had a lot of response. We've had a lot of help. I want to shout out to the El Governor for giving us space to run everything there, and also a very generous donation for the fireworks. Very generous. The Caribbean Coffee, they have donated. Councilwoman Hamilton has a water jug. Go ahead and show them. Show the family. Show the folks at home. He has donated 500 of those for our runners at the end of the race, plus a very generous donation. People have been very outpouring, and we hope to have the biggest and best show that Mexico Beach has ever had with our fireworks. We're still working on live streaming for Mike because he's not going to be able to be here. So if anyone knows how to do that, because I don't, reach out, please, because we want Mike to be able to see it. If not, maybe we can tape it. But if someone can live stream the show, because if everything goes according to plan, It will be the biggest and best show that we've ever had for the 250th anniversary. So please, thank you again to everybody. Registration, again, is not till, or pick up the package is not till July 3rd. Thank you.
Hold on, question, I have a question too.
Wait a minute, man, you didn't say that, but put them on the timer.
And I'm okay if you just wanna come fifth and sit down, okay? But, it's been asked numerous times.
Okay.
Tax-wise, I mean, if I wrote you a check, is
No.
that tax deductible? So you guys
We
not-
are a not-for-profit. We are not a non-profit. There's a difference in paperwork, so we're not allowed to give you a tax exemption status. If we
Okay.
were a 501c3, then yes, we could do that.
Yeah, that becomes a big problem for some of the
I
people that
understand
come
that.
to us and said they wanna donate.
This committee was started in 1999. I don't know why they did it that, well, I can only imagine why they did it. The paperwork, the filing with the IRS, stuff like that.
Is it not, so it's not something you're gonna do in the future?
We don't plan on it. Our sole mission is to raise money for the fireworks. That's all we do.
Oh, you can increase that by becoming a nonprofit. Sure.
What do you mean? Oh, possibly.
You have a lot more donors. I realize.
Possibly. But then you're gonna have to do the filings and stuff, then you're probably gonna have to hire someone with his expertise.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's much more complicated.
You answered my question.
Okay. Any others while I'm here?
Yes. How do you
Yes.
sign up for the fun run because the registration's closed?
Pardon?
How do you-
Registration's closed.
How do you sign up for the 5K?
You need to text Joy Hutchinson, and I can get you that number.
Yeah, her name's right, or her number's right here.
That's correct. People, you have to understand, we close the registration because you gotta have time to order the t-shirts.
Understood.
They can't make them up the next day.
I got
Okay.
teenager. I got
What are you
teenager-
waiting for? We've been telling you for a month. Come on,
I got-
man. Come on.
I got teenagers who change their mind every 5 seconds. Now they want to run.
Then they can,
I'll take it.
text Joy. It's amazing, people. It is amazing to me. But I've been running this thing for 6 years. Why we, we close it early every year so we can order the t-shirts. That's the only reason. But thank you for that. I do want to mention this, and this is a safety precaution, because people have asked us, can our small children go with us and be on a bike or on a scooter? No, that is a safety hazard, because they can't control it. Not only is it a safety for the children, it's a safety for the other runners. So please, don't bring a child out there with a little scooter or a bicycle. We're not going to let you run, because it is a safety concern for the child and the runners. We've had several people ask us that. Now, someone that has a baby in a stroller, they're in control of that. That's okay, no problem. So, yes, ma'am.
Well, too, also, late registration is available until even before the race
Text
starts.
Joy.
Yeah.
Text
Okay,
Joy.
but even if somebody shows up the day of the race and wants to register.
We don't encourage it.
But it's a possibility if you have
We
teenagers that
don't-
are undecided.
That's right.
And they get up early that morning, want to come, they can come.
Okay.
We don't encourage it.
And just
No,
to be
possibly no
Because
t-shirts.
it's really hectic.
just to be clear, I found the race registration website that is closed, but it has Joy's number. I found it through the Mexico Beach Special Events Facebook page.
Well, that's good to know. And also, one other clarification, this is my fault, it's not the committee's fault, it's John's fault. I put the wrong zip code on the mailing letter. My mistake. I did not know the P.O. box had a different zip code, but rest assured, I have gotten many letters from that post office box that have the 32456. So if you sent it to that, we did get it. That's my fault. I promise to do better next year. Don't blame anybody else but me.
And I did call the post office about that.
Yeah.
It really didn't matter if you put 06 or 07. They told me it was going to be okay.
And just to let y'all know, we've gotten letters from Lubbock, Texas, Arizona, Iowa, which was very impressive to me. So local people, go ahead and send in something. Any other questions, sir?
No, sir. That's it.
Thank y'all again for your time and help.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? We're good with citizen comments, good to close that. City administrator is off today. City attorney, anything, sir?
No, sir.
How we doing with the, Spiller, contract?
It's gonna be on the 29th agenda.
The workshop.
Okay, we have that answer done? Or you-
Well, I spoke with Mel yesterday, and asked him if he had sent the version that had the option on it to Mr. Spillers. He was gonna do that, and, that's the last I've heard about it.
And then you need us from the economic plan.
I'm sorry.
You need us to do something like the number of people that would be employed, the economic side.
That's a different contract, man. You were asking
No.
about Spillers.
Is that not, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm
That's the
thinking
during, yeah,
Okay,
I'm working on that one.
okay. You're gonna see that in the next meeting?
Probably not on the 29th, but the next regular meeting, yes, sir.
Okay. So you don't have any other comments?
No, sir.
No questions for the city attorney, anybody?
Just one. I know we technically probably haven't hit the 30-day mark, but have you had a chance to make a phone call on our property on 37th Street?
I have, not a phone call, but I did have a phone call with them and then followed up with an email. It looks promising for whatever the city wants to do.
As of the 30th.
She took the position as of the 30th. The way the grant was written, it technically is from when it closed, which was before that, but as of the end of this month,
It looks promising.
it's totally promising.
There you go. Thank you.
My only question is Bailey Lane, so we can have an update.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that now.
Okay.
I had it on the comments.
Okay.
Department head, anybody? Go ahead, you go first.
I'll put them to sleep, you can wake them up. Where are we? So morning, council. Just so you know, it's Gollywhopper season. And it's the 15th year of the Gollywhopper. We've done it now for the last 3 years. Captain's party is Friday from 5 till 7, where you can come and register your boat. Fish on the 26th from midnight to be in line at 5 o'clock for weigh-in. If you miss the 5 o'clock deadline, you will not get weighed in. We have numerous sponsors. I won't go through them all now, but without them this wouldn't be possible. So come join us, see who they are, and have some fun on Friday night, and catch some fish on Saturday. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning again. Just a quick update on our annual financial audit. It's done. So this marks year 2 that we've gotten it in and completed on time.
Good job.
One of my goals was, over the past years before I got here, the city had been cited. There were 8 different criteria that the city wasn't meeting with its finances. So my goal was to whittle those down, and of those 8, there's probably 2 that are going to linger just for years and years and years. I got 3 knocked off, but the bad thing is I got 2 put on. The 2 that got put on were from the new state statutes about the impact fee fund and the budgeting for the disaster relief fund. So those will come off. I'm actually gonna, I've talked with the auditors, with 2 different sets of auditors and CPAs, and I can actually get, through a budget amendment, which will probably happen in July, get the disaster relief fund actually put into this year's budget through a budget amendment. So that will come off next year. The impact fee accounting one will come off as soon as we do go through our budget season. So my goal is next year is I'm going to have those 2 taken off plus another 2 more. So that leaves me with 3 left. And it'll take me another year to get that 3rd one compliance issue off. But then the last 2, as I said, they're gonna linger. One of them is basically our net position, because our enterprise funds owe the general fund money over numerous periods of years. That can linger. It's still on our financials. It's still being counted. I was going to talk with Mel, or I have talked with Mel, and kind of briefly with the mayor as well, that, you know, the city could make a big financial decision to clear all of that debt, but it will make an impact as far as cash is concerned to our different bank accounts, because we'd have to move monies and stuff like that. So my recommendation is, as long as the auditors and the state are fine with us having a due to, due from on our books for years, then that's what we're going to keep it. Mel and I will submit the final draft this week, and it will be done, and then we move right on into budget season. But I want to thank my staff of Caitlin and Vanessa and Andrea. The audit comprises our expenses and our revenues, and then it also comprises grants and federal money. With my staff, they're responsible basically for the expense side and the cash coming inside. Vanessa, she handles all the enterprise funds, so that's a huge job, and she does a great job. January was very helpful in getting me information. Walker, even the fire chief, is involved in getting me information for that audit. And and Julie and Tammy as well. So I had a lot of help this year, which was very, very good, and made this process go a lot more smoother.
Good job.
So I thank you all.
Yep. Any other department head?
I got two little things.
Yeah, come on.
You want me to stand up there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all doing? Morning, council. Sunset Park, from what I'm hearing right now, should be ready by the end of the week. The roof has already been on. They're waiting for a couple more caps, and they'll put the gutter system on it. It should be ready this week. It should be it should be ready by the 4th of July weekend. We have a new cooler installed on Monday for the fish cooler out there on the boat ramp. It's all brand new. It's ready to go.
One question, the barriers on 27th Street, the rope barriers, were those gonna get put up? Because that was in a weekly report a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it's been delayed or something like that.
For what? For the
27th Street, where?
You talk about the ropes for the ropes.
Yes.
We haven't gotten there yet, but yes, we want to install some rope there so that no one parks on that median in front of the taco stand.
Yeah, so,
Yes,
sorry, I'm not
Yes,
pushing
sir.
for it, I just
you're
saw
good.
it was in the weekly report.
It's just being talked about, yes, sir.
Good. Thank you. All right, moving on to council comments. Yes, sir.
I'll go first. The only thing I've got is I wish Mel were here. I think we all owe Mel a great thank you for kind of pulling the organization of the city together. But as part of that, I think as a council, we have to recognize that a year goes by really, really quick. And he's going to be leaving us in about a year. And as I recall, before he stepped in to take over, there was some decisions at the table made about a firm, search firm. And Mayor, I think maybe the rest of the council feels differently, but I know we're entering budget season, but sooner than later, we probably ought to implement that strategy for his replacement, because we'll blink and it'll be Thanksgiving, and then we'll lose November, December. And I just want the city to have time to do an appropriate search, vetting, so that hopefully we get someone close to as competent as Mr. Mel.
We're very close on conversations, and that's exactly what's going on here. We're gonna be way ahead of it rather than way behind it.
Right.
I agree.
Proactive.
Yep, absolutely.
No.
Anybody else?
So I don't guess Mel wants to renew his 2-year contract.
Well, I've asked that once, I've asked it twice.
We're trying.
trying.
Well, he's earned the right to retire.
Yes.
Why here?
Yeah.
No, Mayor, my only question was on Bailey Lane, but I think you're gonna answer.
Yeah. Anything? Anybody else? No? Good deal. My only, I had Golly Whopper, by all means, make sure that, you know, these events that we have in Mexico Beach are few and far between, but man, they are attended well. So let's keep that up, and I've had some conversations with the staff about how do we increase that? How do we do a couple more different type events sponsored by the city or something? I think that's something that may be coming up in the next few council meetings we'll talk about. What's some other things that we can do?
I think we're gonna have the amphitheater when it's ready. so-
Right. That's a big deal, so, yeah.
Well, Mayor, thank you. Forgive me for chiming in here, but there again, time flies and music in the park's right around the corner. So one of the agenda items I put on the budget discussions was, I really think we ought to do everything we can to beautify Parker Park so that makes music in the park even better this year. And then the city, maybe we plan other city events for that park. Because that amphitheater, if the contractor gets back on the job, will look good.
And the parking, we're already talking about, right across the lagoon.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have some future conversations about that. Bailey Lane. Obviously, I just say this, we're all getting together on the 29th. I mean, if you know anybody needs to attend that meeting, get with them, make sure they attend that meeting, because hopefully we can get this thing resolved right at that meeting. We sent out a letter, you know, from the city, you know, to kind of just take it over and start taking care of it. But obviously got some pushback, so on the 29th, we're gonna get together. It's gonna change from 5 o'clock to 4:30. So it's gonna be 4:30 if you mark your calendar. Yes, city attorney, we asked you to attend that?
Sure.
At 4:30. So that's our plan. By all means, if you guys can have conversations with your constituents, do that. And then make sure we have a good conversation here that we can get this thing settled out. Hopefully. All right, with that said, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
You know what?